Hello. Welcome to the pillbox. In complete and utter darkness today out there. It's chucking it down. It's my soaking wet hat, as you can see, and we're just soaking wet coat and everything like that. It started pouring down, but there we go. Anyway, today is going to be a different one. I'm talk about something. This is sort of like not political or not a thing like that. Oh, bing, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong. Somebody just sent me a text or something. What's it now? What is it now? Psychopaths and sociopaths. There seems to be an awful lot of confusion. I mean, going round throughout the whole of the bloody interweb between the two terms. Okay, and people they're using them incorrectly. There's this whole thing about sociopaths that I watched and this slightly obese American lass with a wah, 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 wah accent was rattling on about sociopaths, and she's using things like Ted Bundy as a prime example. Darling, Ted Bundy was a psychopath. The difference between sociopaths and psychopaths is thus. Psychopaths are born, okay? They're hardwired. They are probably about, the majority of them are men. There are some women psychopaths, they do exist, but the majority of them are men, okay? And quite a lot of leaders and things like that, they will be quite powerful. They will hide within society. They will sometimes become pillars of society. They're not all psychopaths are sort of mass murderers or something like that. Although a lot of mass murderers are psychopaths that way round. Now, and judges, lawyers, all that, doctors, surgeons, they score, quite a lot of them score, highly on the psychopathic traits. And then you have sociopaths. Now, sociopaths is a learnt behaviour mainly from a traumatic childhood. And seeing though that childhood can be traumatic for quite a lot of us, there are more sociopaths, and it's a more even split between the male and female than the psychopaths. So 1 in 25 people will be a sociopath, though personally I think if you lowered the bar a little bit, you could probably get to 1 in 15, really, full on, sociopath, 1 in 100 is a psychopath. That's the sort of like the sort of relative, what they see, how it goes. But I want to talk about sociopaths actually, because it's a lot more common and it does affect a lot more people. Now, it's a borderline personality disorder, and if people are, the sociopaths are probably one of the last ones to know. If you have a problem with the truth, if you can tell lies just to get what you want and do things like that, or if you embellish a lot, or if you talk, thing, then that is one of the sociopathic traits. If you have a sort of like an outward arrogance, which is masking an inward feeling of worthlessness, that is another sociopathic trait. If you have an abandonment issues in spades, that's another sociopathic trait. Okay, if you are on the peripheries of society, you feel like a complete outsider all the time, that is another trait of a sociopath. You can look them all up. There's quite a few. I think there's probably about a dozen that you can think, and sociopaths make very, very, very difficult partners. The difference between a psychopath and a sociopath is a psychopath has no empathy, has no fear, does not have that part of his brain or her brain working. Whereas a sociopath can actually feel fear, can feel empathy, and can actually have deep emotions for other people. It's just that they're not wired right. Well, it's not the wiring actually, it's the programming sociopath. They're not programmed right. There's something wrong in the programming. The psychopaths are not wired right, but the sociopaths are programmed wrong. And the good news for sociopaths, because it's a learned behavior, it's very deep, factory settings, it's really deep rooted. But learned behavior can be unlearned to some degree, and you can go along to help yourselves being a sociopath. And there is one simple thing that a sociopath, if you think you have several of the traits of a sociopath or anything like that, there's one very simple thing you can do that will help you phenomenally. Yeah, it will help you a fantastic amount. And it's very simple. And that is always tell the truth. The brutal, ugly truth. Just get into a habit of telling the truth. You'll be amazed what happens when you do something like that. When you start telling the truth, do not exaggerate, do not embellish, do not play down, do not tell white lies, do not think, just tell the truth. And if you can't tell the truth, you just shut your mouth. Okay, you don't say anything. And it becomes a habit, it becomes a thing, and you'll find that your life will actually become more ordered and more focused and more easier, a lot easier. And you'll become more accepted, and you'll have more confidence in yourself because of everything you say is on firm ground. Always tell the truth. You might lose some friends in the process, but if you lose friends because you tell the truth, then they're probably not very well either. And birds of a feather stick together. And if they're not friends that can stand around and take the truth, then they're not worth being your friends at all. You'll be far better to go and get new friends. And if you start telling the truth, you will. But that is the first step you have to do. Okay, be you male, female. I know this is all thing, and female sociopaths, right? Okay, the crazies, as my friend calls them. Great sex, fantastic sex. This is for the youngsters, the young blokes here. Like, if you find really, really good-looking girls, wild sex, sort of like da-da-da-da, absolutely great. But be very, very, very careful, boys, because you're playing with absolute fire. You could end up in a bucket load of shit, and it could even cost you your life, actually. And as much as, when I was younger, I was attracted to them. Absolutely, totally attracted to the crazies. I didn't want to know the nice, decent girls, the really lovely girls and everything like that. Attracted to the crazies. But peace and love. It's from the pillbox. I won't be doing this. Is going to be my last one for a little while. Yesterday's one was all on the skew for some reason. I still can't work out how to do that. And on YouTube, you used to be able to sort of like thing it. But the good news is, I've now been. I don't know what I've done, but YouTube now allows me to monetize, and Twitter's taken the strikes off at the moment. Apparently, I had a load of strikes. It was something to do with over their policy of gender thing, which is, oh God, there are only two genders, male and female. Okay, right? You cannot turn a man into a woman. You cannot turn a woman into a man. We are born this way. Yeah, you're born a man or you're born a woman. There's one in about 1 million people who are hermaphrodites. I think it's 1 in 1 million, and that is a medical condition. But we don't need to have separate toilets for them because it's only 1 in 1 million. So if it'll be 15 years before anybody uses that toilet. Meanwhile, other people are standing outside busting in a queue for the other side. Peace and love, people, and I'll see you on the other side.